recently went down a very deep rabbit hole in the world of XRP, which I thought was one of the most interesting things I have ever looked into. And here's the deal. I know most of you have heard of Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larsson, and David Schwartz, but the person I'm going to talk about today, Arthur Britto, you probably haven't heard of at all. And there's a good reason for that. Since the beginning of the XRPL, this person has been working on it in a development role. They were here before any of the other names I just gave you. This person also has a lot of money. I don't even know how I learned about this guy, and I find it so incredibly interesting. There are a lot of ways that Arthur Britto is like Satoshi Nakamoto. This person was involved in the very beginning stages of building a huge cryptocurrency project that we use today. Honestly, he has gone to great lengths to make sure that no one knows who he is. He has stayed totally anonymous and has billions of dollars. That being said, David Schwartz and Jed McCaleb might know who Arthur Britto is, but it's also possible that they don't because they never talk about him, which is crazy when you think about how many XRP tokens he has now. Actually, I learned about him when I looked into who holds the most XRP of any known person. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise. That is, in fact, Chris Larsson. He was the very first CEO of the Ripple team, back when they were still being worked on and were called Open World Coin. Some of you may or may not know this. After that, I wanted to go a little further. We all know who Chris Larsson is. So I wanted to know who are the top 10 known individuals who hold the most XRP, because I'm not interested in trade walls or other stuff like that. That doesn't matter to anyone. Chris Larsson was of course on this list. We had Brad Garlinghouse, whose name is here. Then I saw Britto. I'm going to be honest, I really thought David Schwartz would be here instead of Arthur Britto. I had never heard of this person in the XRP world, so when I saw their name, I was shocked. I was interested right away, and you can see that he is thought to have between 1.3 and 1.4 billion XRP. He is now another co-founder of Ripple. Britto got some of the 20 billion XRP that were given to founders at the start. On-chain data shows that addresses connected to him hold about 1.38 billion XRP, which is worth about $860 million in 2023. It's worth a lot more than that now in 2025. Now that XRP is worth more than $2.00 a coin, we're talking about billions of dollars. That's crazy. Then, this guy is a multi-billionaire and no one knows who he is. When I heard about Arthur Britto, I thought, okay. I told Grok to look into it more, search the internet, search across X, tell us more about this unknown person who has been making technology for the XRPL. This is what we know about them. So the co-founders of Ripple, who were originally OpenCoin, along with Jed McCaleb, Chris Larsson, and David Schwartz, began working together in 2012. He was very important in creating the XRP ledger, the decentralized blockchain that XRP transactions are based on. He also helped with early vision cross-border payment protocols as a strategist and technical assistant. He has between 1.3 and 1.38 billion XRP, which is what he got from the first 20 billion he bought. Because Britto isn't very well known, not many personal information are available. We know he's a software engineer who is good at security and distributed systems, which fits with Ripple's goal of making a global payment protocol. And Pride Ripple. Britto's work experience isn't well known in the public domain. His technical contributions, on the other hand, show that he has a lot of knowledge in computer science or a related area. Although it's been about 12 or 13 years since he made all of these contributions, he still doesn't have much of a public profile and isn't actively involved in running Ripple anymore. However, he is thought to still have a strategic or advisory role, or just hold on to his XRP as an investor. And unlike Larsson or Garlinghouse, Britto doesn't want any media attention. He only does a few interviews and public comments. That makes no sense, okay? Hey, who knew there was another Satoshi Nakamoto? It gets even stranger after this, right? Britto is not only unknown, there are no public pictures of him, interviews, or social media sites of any kind. He doesn't have an X, a Facebook page, an Instagram account, or anything else. He's just not out there at all, which seems so strange. This guy works for a company and has billions of dollars, but no one knows who he is. Chris Larsson, Jed McCaleb, and David Schwartz are not being asked who he is. No one is even asking Brad Garlinghouse what name he goes by. But this person has more XRP than David Schwartz, who is the present CTO and has worked on this project since the beginning. Of course, the fact that he is completely anonymous has some perks. For starters, he has no problems at all, and the way he sees the group is very interesting. He's a big name in the crypto world who is known for his technical contributions, but not talked about in depth very often. Feel that this person is either one of two things. Either he works for the secret services, or he is really smart, like next level 180 IQ super genius level, probably very unhappy and doesn't see the point of being famous all the time, and he just wants to stay out of the heat. He does everything because he loves what he does for work. Does anyone know what Arthur Britto looks like? I asked the AI tool, I put it on a deep search, literally read every single article on the internet, and some people have written articles over the years. Anyway, I came to the conclusion that only a small group of people know who he is and what he looks like. That's when I started to ask more serious questions like, what does he think of crypto? What does he think it's all about? Has he ever had any posts that got likes on any forums? So, what does he think about crypto? Okay, so the deep search result is, well, he has never explained in public what his full view on cryptocurrencies is. That is, he's not on any public sites. He does not like to talk to the public in any way, ever.